Forests do so much for us. They are the heart and lungs of our ecosystems. They filter the air, they sequester carbon in their wood. Without forests, existence and life on this planet would be incredibly different. There wouldn't be the habitat that we have for all of our wildlife. There wouldn't be the wood products that we use on a daily basis. We would not have the same climate and weather patterns that we have right now. Trees, which are the main composition of what a forest is, are miraculous living things. And as a forester, it's my job to make sure people know that trees are alive, that they communicate with each other, and that they live these long lives, and that their lives have purpose and meaning and value, not only for the needs and goods that we want from the trees, but also for the animals that live in the forest.
Forestry entails using certain methods per each individual sort of species of tree to create a better healthy forest overall and to also improve wildlife habitat. A forester creates and delivers knowledge to the landowner for wood products and doing sound forest management to create a healthy forest for the future generations to come.
The relationship between a logger and a forester is very important. The forester is typically trained on proper management practices, how to mark the trees, how to cut them. He works very closely with the logger, dictates how it should be cut, and makes sure they do a good job. Works with landowners. He's the bridge between the landowner and the logger.
Working with professional foresters or professional qualified loggers is probably the most important part. It's kind of a one-time deal. You get one shot at forestry, doing forest management, every decade or so. So it's important to think about what you want, your objectives, and to be sure that your professionals you're working with understand those objectives as well, and make sure you get the result that you're looking for. People are aware of forest history in Michigan. What happened in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was some exploitative logging where basically all the trees were cut and things burned over. It wasn't a happy scene. People like to see trees, people like big trees. One of the biggest factors is people don't know the value of young forests versus middle-aged forests and older growth forests. So when they see the reestablishment of a forest, they're a little bit shocked by that.
They tend to think loggers are these rednecks out there ruining our forests. I would like to change that.
If you look around, the initial result is not always appealing, and it's easy to let this tell the story. But in a couple of years, obviously, this will be a lot different. Clear cutting is a management practice used to create a young forest that's even aged, oftentimes to create a certain type of desirable habitat. Certain species of wildlife depend on young forests, young dense forests. So if we want that condition, we use clear cutting to create that condition. Clear cutting is not appropriate in every situation, and certainly it's not used in every situation, but there are situations where it is appropriate. Deforestation is actually a land use change. We're talking about land going from forest to another land use like agriculture or development. It is a problem, not necessarily here in Michigan. We don't have too much deforestation going on, but it is a destructive practice, and certain places in the world is a much bigger issue.
There are 20 million acres of forest land in Michigan. In Michigan alone, it's a $20 billion industry, and it's always growing. There's many reasons why we log. First of all, if you look around your home, I'm sure that there's wood products everywhere within your home, from your kitchen table to your coffee table to the chairs you sit in to the wood that built the foundation of your home. Those are all forest products, and we need to actively manage our forests so that we as humans have these resources, but so that the environment is also okay.
Logging actually mimics natural disturbances. So depending on the type of logging, it can mimic a fire, can mimic a tornado, or just your basic wind throw, even insect and disease outbreaks. So logging is important because it mimics those natural disturbances that in some cases may no longer occur because of how people have changed the landscape, how we've changed the climate, and so on and so forth.
I feel that logging is an important tool in controlling fires. If the forests are under-harvested, left to stand, there's a lot of dead trees, you're going to have a lot more potential for fires, hot fires that will burn out of control.
You can use forestry and the traditional practice of forestry in your community. If you have a community park, a forested property that your community owns, don't be afraid to actively manage it. Don't be scared of active manage. Trees are a renewable resource, and just because you cut something down doesn't mean it's gone forever. It may look bad, but it's not bad, it's just different. And there's nothing wrong with the practice of logging and active management. And ultimately, the forest and the environment and the entire ecosystem is going to benefit from these practices. I think that forestry is kind of the ultimate environmental science profession. Forestry is impactful on all of the other different professions out there. Without forests, the animals wouldn't have the places they call home. The rivers would maybe flood and run more freely. There wouldn't be dams, and the actual limnology, the study of the moving waters, would be different. And without forests, life as we know it would be different. And I'm happy to be a professional in this industry.